YouTube. I have to say, honestly, I have never been so happy to be wrong about a movie in my lifetime. But it seems that Hollywood may have finally found their groove when it comes to blending CG with the real world and like physical actors. And between this and Battle Angel Alita, Hollywood may finally be onto something. Let's talk about it. Detective Pikachu. I guess I want to start this off by saying the world feels authentic to a Pokemon world and a Pokemon city, and not something from our planet Earth or like New York City or Los Angeles or like, I don't fucking know, like Florida. Well, I don't know where else they shoot movies. It doesn't feel like it's there. It feels like an authentic Pokemon city, like Rhyme City. This is what I imagine Rhyme City to look like from the ground level up. If you pay close attention, there isn't any product placement in the movie, which is just a plus. I was just waiting to see a Coca-Cola sign or the next new Mercedes or Audi to pop up, or Dunkin' Donuts or Dave & Buster's sign to just be out there just for your face. But oddly enough, and I was looking, believe me, like I was looking, and I don't know why, but I just look for product placement nowadays. Blame Transformers, blame Fast and Furious, blame all them movies that are out that just throw it in your face, and Marvel. But I'm not here to talk about any of those. It feels like almost nothing from planet Earth, and I think that's the biggest thing that I wanted going into a movie about Pokemon that I didn't know that I wanted. I just knew it once I watched it. Like, this feels right. It feels like almost nothing from planet Earth, and it feels as though it's a Pokemon world and humans were dropped into their planet instead of the other way around, if you get what I'm saying. It's important to understand that the directors and the animators had an incredibly difficult time. Like, I want to stress that, like, this movie looks like it took some time in creating this world and merging the real world with the 3D creatures that they had to create. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had to create these Pokemon. So you can imagine my relief when I looked up at the beginning of the movie and I saw on the screen that Pokemon International logo flashes across it. My heart felt at ease. I felt like I could just deflate and just enjoy the movie. But I mean, it put my mind at ease. Well, what does that mean? Why does that matter, Hugo? That means that Hollywood wasn't just a loose cannon after they got the green light to make a Pokemon movie. They couldn't just do what they wanted to do because the Pokemon company had direct contact with whoever they was in contact with at Hollywood, and they were like, that's not gonna fly, that's not gonna fly. But it also means that Hollywood had actual references to go by. Like, if Hollywood called Pokemon, they were like, yo, I need the schematics for the Bulbasaur. Well, now they have the original, well, I assume original, or just copies of how they actually draw Bulbasaur, or the actual placement of its patterns and its leaves and stuff. It had those actual things, so they weren't just left to just create whatever they wanted to create. They weren't just going to be able to run rampant like how they did for Avatar: The Last Airbender and Dragon Ball and Death Note, and the list goes, I promise you, I mean, the list goes on, right? Those are movies and examples of what happens when Hollywood is just allowed to do whatever they want. Pokemon said, not with us, fam. And then, nah, we gonna have you on a leash this time. We're gonna monitor you. You're gonna have to collaborate with us if you want this movie to go through, because if you don't, we're pulling the plug. And it shows, because the details of the Pokemon and the cameos are absolutely incredible. Not just the physical look, but also their behaviors match very similar, if not exactly, to their Pokedex entries. There's a slacking like every other frame, sleeping somewhere. I'm like, this slacking is really, really knocked. And you see it's just, it's satisfying, you know. I mean, maybe younger Pokemon fans don't pay attention to the Pokédex entries because there were a lot of older Pokemon. They actually had a very good balance of new gen and old gen, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I mean, all the way through, they had a very good balance. But I mean, the Pokédex entries match what the Pokemons were doing in the film. It just looked like the animators were just having so much fun creating these Pokemon. It looked like they play Pokemon. They're like, yo, I get a chance to actually bring them to life. They were hyped for it. I was hyped for them because they just nailed it. Like, It really, really looked like a Pokemon world, and humans were dropped into their world, and it didn't look like, oh, Pokemon just magically popped up in New York City or they popped up in Los Angeles. It authentically looked like a Pokemon world. I don't think there was one detail about it that looked American. There wasn't a McDonald's in sight, y'all. I can't stress how, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can't stress how fresh this movie was from coming from so much of my childhood being brought to live action and so much of my childhood just being a disappointment. For it to finally hit the nail on the head with this Pokemon movie, it was just so refreshing. I literally only went to watch it because I wanted to make a review on it, and I was laughing my ass off the entire movie. This movie appeals to Pokemon fans of all ages. I thought I was going to be the oldest person in that movie theater, and I'm sitting beside someone who looks, if not my age, maybe a couple years older than me, and it was not just kids in the theater. Like, everybody was there to watch this movie, and we were all laughing. The biggest thing about this movie that I thought I wasn't going to be able to enjoy is what I said earlier. It's just going to be another trash movie from Hollywood in an attempt to bring another live action anime or cartoon, and I thought they were going to fail, and they absolutely succeeded. That's what I want to say. I wish to express that this is not meant to be critically watched. It just can't be. The plot alone of Detective Pikachu is just so simple, so basic. Every plot, every turn, every twist, it's meant to easily be solved, and they just had fun with the Pokemon. You cannot sit down and critically watch this. Just go and watch it and have a trip down memory lane with all of your favorite Pokemon coming to life, because this is the world that we dreamt of living in when we were kids, playing Pokemon on the Game Boy, on the Nintendo DS, on the GameCube, hell, even now on the Nintendo Switch. It's just a fun roller coaster due largely in part to Ryan Reynolds nailing Pikachu, and literally the funniest parts of this movie is between him and Lucy Psyduck, and when the Pikachu is chastising Tim for spitting horrible game to this woman Lucy that they're running around the world with. And you're introduced to some of the cringiest flirting you have ever seen on screen. And I do mean some of the cringiest. But I do think that largely this movie benefited from not having source material, right? And people say this all the time, and I know I've said this before. If you're going to do an anime, do something original. Keep the characters, keep the power system, keep everything. Just do something original, because how Hollywood fucks up is they fuck up because they try to copy something verbatim and they do it wrong. Like if you're trying to make a movie out of a series, you can't do it. There is too much material for you to fit into a 1.5 hour, 2 hour, 2.5 hour movie, and you're left with it feeling rushed because you have to rush everything. The build up that a series is allowed is not the same build up that a movie is allowed. Hell, Marvel's Endgame had to be 3 hours, because if it wasn't 3 hours, it would have felt extremely rushed. When you have that much CG, you're balling on a budget, and Pokemon was on a budget, so it was like an hour and like 20 minutes, something crazy like that. So I say this movie benefited greatly from not having source material, but it does have source material. There is a Detective Pikachu game for the Nintendo DS, but I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's played that damn game. So it's basically like having no source material. I mean, I didn't know there was a game out for this until I actually Googled it and started doing research for this video. Nobody's played that damn game. I mean, hell, there's a talking Pikachu, and the talking Pokemon curve reminds me heavily of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series, and it gives me hella vibes from that game. And to be honest with you, that is literally one of my favorite Pokemon games and short series, is the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. And to this day, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time and Darkness has the best story of any Pokemon game, and you can try to fight me on it, but you can try in the comment section. This was the testing ground. This was the testing ground for Pokemon. This was the testing ground for Hollywood, and revitalizing this live action anime game movie universe series, and they hit the nail on the head. Now, if they would have messed this up, I think they would have just had to stop for a very long time, because you're talking about Pokemon is easily top 3 most notable game franchise in the world, even amongst anime. Some people don't consider Pokemon anime. I don't know what to tell you. Pokemon is most definitely an anime, and is like, you can't go anywhere in the world where people don't know Pokemon. It is just going to be very interesting to see where this goes. Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is just my initial thoughts on the movie. Okay, this was not really an in-depth review. I just wanted to express this to people. You feel what I'm saying? But with that being said, that's all I have for y'all today. Kind of a short video, at least short by my standards. Like, comment, rate, subscribe, and like always, keep it safe and wrap it tight. I'm out.